1 month into the college football season, and we might have more questions than answers. But Week 4 has delivered in more ways than we can count. We're here to break it all down with you, alongside former NFL QB Matt Sims, fresh off a flight from Sydney, Australia. Skubie Mageza is back in town. I am Sam Ravech. Folks, thanks for joining us. And for you that are in the YouTube chat, please interact with us throughout the show. We're going to be checking that and getting back to you. Want to know your thoughts on some of the things that went down today. But, guys, what have we actually learned here so far? Well, I think we've learned money talks in today's era of college football, right? We'll get to Texas Tech in just a second. Clemson has some serious problems, but Scoob, Oklahoma doesn't.
Yeah, that is the truth. And at the end of the day, what I love to say, Sam, is the only thing we know is that we know absolutely nothing. So let's open up the show with an SEC opener between two undefeated teams, that is Auburn and Oklahoma. We're going to pick this up in the second quarter. Game tied at 3 is where we're going to start. But first, let's see how they got into there. All right, there it is. Now we're going into the second quarter. All right, they're going to punt it here for Auburn. Low snap. Hudson Cott can't get the punt off.
Can't do that.
And oh no.
Yeah, that's not good.
Turnover. Oklahoma ball in prime real estate. So moments later, John Mateer finds a wide open Isaiah Satania for the touchdown.
He had a good game.
Oh yeah, he most definitely did. But a little bit of controversy here.
Yeah, a little
the way that it went down.
Yeah, Arbuckle and the boys kind of faking the fact that they were subbing Satania out. He stays on the side there and slips down the sideline uncovered. And you can see Hugh Freeze was not happy about it.
Yeah, so later on, Hugh Freeze says, I got something for your ass. How about this? This is a pass to Coleman, catching the go ball for the touchdown. He had 3 catches for 88 yards. We go to the fourth quarter. Sooners lead 16-10 following the 2 field goals. This is huge. 4th and 11. Jackson Arnold. I can be your hero, baby. 5 of 6 for fourth down conversions this season, and they have been Jackson Arnold rushes. And then later on,
that's a PI.
That's a throw down the field. Auburn could have really used this.
That's a tackle.
I agree with the call. I don't know about you guys. Same drive. Malcolm Simmons makes reservations for a 6. Tigers take the lead, and it's the first time the Sooners have trailed all season. It's 17-16. Later in the fourth quarter, Oklahoma ball. Mateer hits Satania for a big 31-yard game. It will be questionable. Was it a completion? Was it not? It was. Next play. Mateer says, who do you think you are? I am the Heisman favorite, baby. Touchdown. They retake the lead, 22-17. Auburn trying to mount a comeback with under 2 minutes left in the game. And fellas, this is where things got ugly.
Yeah,
Arnold trying to make something happen. All right, not a sack. Okay, next play. He got hit there. Get rid of the ball. Matt.
Holding on to the football too much. This is really what kind of played Jackson Arnold all day on the offensive side.
Yeah.
3rd straight hit on the quarterback. This goes for a safety, and it was the 10th sack of the game for Oklahoma. It's the 4th time in the past 40 seasons that a team has recorded at least 10 sacks, and they broke the school record. Sooners get the safety, which, by the way, was important to some because they were a 6.5-point favorite.
Yes, they were.
They were up by 5 before that safety. Bad beat. They win 24-17. We're going to talk about this game a lot more just later on in the show, but what a win for Oklahoma.
Huge win. No question about it. 54-0. All right. Former Oklahoma Sooner, current Michigan head coach Jerome Moore, MIA for the Wolverines trip to Lincoln this afternoon. This was all about the QBs, Bryce Underwood and Dylan Raiola. The offense got started early on. That was Raiola with the touchdown pass. Here's Justice Haynes, 75 yards to the house. Just when it looked like Michigan would end the half with a lead. Tick, 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 tick. Dylan Raiola gonna heave this thing up into the end zone. Ja'Cory Barnes Jr. would ring it down.
Yeah, Biff Poggi, just terrible coaching here before half, giving Dylan Raiola the opportunity to throw that Hail Mary to tie the football game going into half.
Yeah, as you know, the 1995 Nebraska National Championship team was honored before this game. What a win it would have been if they could have sealed the deal. True. The second half came, and it went. 10 minutes into the third quarter, 2nd and 2. Here's Jordan Marshall taking off. 55-yard score. Michigan ran the ball a ton. They ran it 21 times in the second half, just 12 in the first.
No one touched him there, but he ran angry for that touchdown.
He sure did. Dylan Raiola not going to go down without a fight. That's Heinrich Harburg with a 3-yard score. Nebraska down 3 with a minute left to go. But this is going to do it. Smart play here by Jordan Marshall, just sliding inbounds there to waste some clock. Michigan takes down Nebraska 30-27. They move to 3-1 on the season. No question, the early road test, I thought, at Oklahoma played a role in how Michigan was able to close this one out.
Yeah, Michigan is a tough football team, well coached on both sides, and Bryce Underwood just playing beyond his years, understanding how to manage the football game. Justice Haynes, Marshall in the backfield. The offensive line play was absolutely phenomenal by the Michigan Wolverines today.
Guys, all is well for folks in maize and blue this weekend. Same cannot be said, though, for those in Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney made it a point this week to just kind of remind the media how much his teams have won.
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way, because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? If Clemson's tired of winning, they can send me on my way, but I'm gonna go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all gonna have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach. I'm just now figuring it out. But why are we held to a different standard from all these other teams out there who ain't ever won nothing? We're not perfect, and we may suck this year. We may lay a freaking egg and go 6-6, but I don't think so.
Sit down, be humble. That's what my mom would tell me. Clemson hoping to rebound against Syracuse after an upset loss at Georgia Tech, and they're unranked for the first time since 2003. First quarter, Syracuse at the 12-yard line. Steve Angeli and Justice Ross Simmons play big boy ball here. Little man, you got mossed. Syracuse leads 7-0.
Look at the body control right here. Catching the football over his head, being pushed out of bounds, still gets the foot down, the arm down. What a play there.
And they get on top 7-0. Fran Brown immediately goes aggressive, gets the onside kick. They recover, convert a fourth down, kick the field goal, get up 10-0 early. And this is the first drive for the Clemson offense, and they get a 38-yard touchdown here. Cade Klubner to Bryant Wesco Jr. That's his favorite target this season, as we have seen. Now the lead is cut to 3. It's 10-7. Next possession, Darrell Gill Jr. with an impressive toe tap catch to keep the ball moving. Another look at it.
There's some good catches in week 4. Nice back shoulder there.
Oh, the skill across the country is just absolutely ridiculous.
Agreed.
Great job by Angeli moving up in the pocket and making a good throw.
A few plays later, Will Nixon Jr. runs it in and makes reservations for 6. The Orange take a 17-7 lead. We go to the third quarter here. Syracuse leading 27-14 now. Adam Randall, he was playing a good game, but this is what happens when you put a wide receiver at the running back position. Fumbles the ball. Syracuse gets great field position already in the red zone at the 18. Next play, Ricky Collins, replacing an injured Angeli, makes a throw and hits Ross Simmons for the touchdown. After a review on the field, the ruling on the field would stand. The Orange lead 34-14, and Syracuse will go on to win it 34-21, and Clemson falls to 1-3. Dabo, somber after the game.
Obviously, an incredibly disappointing outcome and start to our season. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. I mean, just a lot of pain. I've been in a lot of painful locker rooms. That was up there near the top, and man, my heart just hurts for our team and our fans.
34-21 the final there. Syracuse with a massive win. They got a tough schedule down the stretch. Clemson, a lot of questions still yet to be answered. We will talk more about the Tigers in just a bit. Let's go to another Tiger. South Carolina still reeling from the loss to Vanderbilt last weekend. They got to go on the road to see Beau Pribula and the Missouri Tigers to try and get things sorted out. Gamecocks quarterback Lenore Sellers did make his return after suffering that concussion earlier in the game last week. Right before the first quarter ends, Beau Pribula finding one of his favorite targets. That's Brett Norfleet for 25 yards. They got good positioning. Low scoring early. The scoring would get going, though, as we go to the second quarter. Here's Beau Pribula finding Joshua Manning for an 8-yard score. No relation.
Well played design there, but Norfleet was open underneath, Manning behind. Missouri's offense, man, they just got a bunch of weapons there. Really well diversified offense they got.
How about Lenore Sellers? This was a really big comeback game for him after getting knocked out early. That's Vandravius Jacobs for a 49-yard score. Beau Pribula, this is his second interception of the season. That's Gerald Kilgore. He's one of the better defensive players for the South Carolina team. Sellers, right back pass complete. Brian Rowe Jr. for the 24-yard touchdown.
Good play design right there. A curl and then a wheel there by the slot receiver. Wide open, exposing the Missouri defensive secondary.
All right, this is what Beau Pribula does and maybe separates him from some of the rest. No options here. He's going to take off and run.
Yeah, the athleticism of the quarterback position is really going to be a game changer for this Missouri offense, and it shows. And he's also just a really tough dude, too.
Yep, took a hit.
And he took a hit, got up, bounced back up, but, man, love the way that Nine's playing so far with this Missouri offense.
It also helps when you got a guy like Ahmad Hardy who's just doing things that we really haven't seen in a Missouri Tigers uniform before. He's got 4 straight 100-plus yard games.
Hey, man, Heisman watch. Ahmad Hardy.
I'm with you.
Hey,
You think so?
Hey, I'm just telling you, keep an eye on it. He's a big part of why this team's so successful right now. Look at all the yards after contact this guy is able to run through. The body control, it's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry to cut you off, Sam.
No, but
I'm excited.
That's Jamal Roberts, too. They have so many different options.
They can hit you from many different places.
Yeah, in the backfield. It's impressive to see what the Tigers got going on here as they would close this one out over South Carolina 29-20 for a huge win in the SEC at home. Improved to 4-0 on the season. 1-0 in SEC play. Beau Pribula has kind of cemented himself there. QB1 for the Missouri Tigers. And the man himself joins us now on our college football show. Beau, fresh off the field. Really appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on the win. Talk a little bit about your experience with this Missouri team. It's early days, but you've been working off and on the field to kind of just bring this team together. Talk about your experience in Columbia, Missouri so far.
Oh, it's been unbelievable. You know, since the day I got here back in January, transferring, the entire program has welcomed me with open arms. And just getting here and learning, you know, Coach Moore's offense and putting this team together in the spring and throughout summer and into fall camp into the season now, it's been a really smooth process. And I'm just proud of you know what we've done as an offense so far, but I still think we have a lot of room to get better. So just excited for our future.
Yeah, and Beau, it seems like you've just gotten better from the moment you left Penn State to where we are today. You're the highest graded SEC quarterback on PFF, and now everyone's talking about you being the best quarterback in the country. At what point did it click for you as you were in the QB battle that, hey, I'm playing the best ball of my life?
Yeah, I think it goes kind of way back. I've always had a belief in myself, even at my time at Penn State. Just always staying ready in my role there. And, you know, I just was waiting for an opportunity and just having that belief in myself and, you know, the people that believed in me from the start. It's really all I needed. And just to have an opportunity, I'm extremely blessed with an unbelievable group of guys and for a really good program.
Just tell us about how exciting it is to play and Coach Moore's offense, especially, too, with players like Hardy, Roberts, Norfleet, Coleman. You guys got a ton of weapons, and just the offense seems like you can adapt to whatever you need to do to win the football game. Tell us just how exciting it is to play quarterback for an offense like that.
It's so much fun. You know, just playing with all these guys and these weapons and, you know, Coach Moore scheming each week with our offensive staff. You know, we have 2 really good running backs, a great offensive line, tight ends, receivers. We got all the pieces, and that's special. And like I said earlier, we can only get better too. You know, the sky's the limit for this offense, and we just have to take it 1 week at a time, learn from our mistakes, and capitalize on our successes and what we're doing well. But it's a long season. You know, we just have to keep getting better. But it's been really fun to play, you know, within this offensive scheme.
Well, I know one of the things, and you mentioned it, that you've always had this level of confidence in yourself. I'm not going to pitch you or make you say anything that you don't want to say. Coming over from Penn State, I know that you had a chip on your shoulder. So can you kind of talk a little bit about what it's been like to really showcase what you can do as a quarterback and for a team and an organization to take them to the next level?
Yeah, I've always, you know, kind of had a chip on my shoulder just because I think it makes me play better. You know, anything, you know, I can do to put myself in an underdog mentality. I think that, you know, is kind of, you know, what I do. And you always have to have an edge. And I think, you know, having an edge just only makes you better. And like I said, I'm so blessed that Coach Drink and this program has given me an opportunity to play, because I just love playing ball. And anything I can do to help our team win, really. I don't care about anything else besides the W and the stat sheet. So just putting my body on the line, anything I have to do to win games, that's really all I care about.
As you should. And I don't know if you've seen this. You probably didn't because you were actually playing in the game. But there were some folks on the sidelines there with a whiteboard that were saying 4-0 Beau for Heisman.
Beau knows.
Beau knows, man. Look, it's been so much fun to watch you do your thing. Last question before we get you out of here. What do you think the ceiling is for this Missouri Tigers team this year?
The sky's the limit. We just have to keep getting better each week. 1 week at a time. We'll enjoy the win against South Carolina for the rest of the night. But it's on a UMass, and it's 1 week at a time, and we just have to stay consistent in our process, stay consistent as a team, and just take it 1 week at a time.
That's Beau Pribula. Beau, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and congratulations on the win. Enjoy it. Looking forward to watching you down the stretch of the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, Beau.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
All right, Texas Tech and Utah. Yeah, we said at the top of the show, money talks. We kind of learned that Texas Tech is the real deal. 10 a.m. kick out in Salt Lake City. It was an early one, and it looked early on. I mean, there was a penalty fest. There was turnovers. But Texas Tech getting the scoring started early in this one. This was
huge first out.
Yeah.
Game. This is on 3rd and long. They get the conversion there with their running back and score to get up 7-0 early on.
Yeah, Cameron Dickey there running good for the Texas Tech offense.
All right, we go to the second quarter here. Baron Morton was injured later in this game. He throws a pick here to Jackson Arnold.
I mean, look at this, Utah. Just the red zone defense right there. And this was the first test for both of these football teams. And early on, the defenses were definitely winning the battle.
I mean, we have 5 turnovers from both defenses in the first half. And this throw here is just unacceptable. I don't know why you would throw that down the field, but we went back and forth in the first half with turnovers from both teams.
Here's Stone Harrington, 58-yard field goal. This would prove to be important later on in the game. Texas Tech would lead 10-0. We had to
8-yarder right there.
That's a big one. We go to the third quarter. Tech still up by 7. Baron Morton scrambling before being stopped by Rex Jordan, and this would be the last play for Baron Morton in this game.
Yeah, this was a scary play. I hope Baron Morton's okay. It seemed right away just super uncomfortable, so not exactly sure if it's concussion, head or neck, but, wishing well wishes for that young man in his future.
Yeah, Matty, you never like an opportunity to come that way, but when it does, you got to take advantage of it, and Will Hammond did that today.
Will Hammond, man, he played phenomenal. The freshman out of Austin, Texas, was in complete control of this football game, just doing a great job of dishing it out. And right here, Utah defense, the lack of tackling on Cameron Dickey run there.
Strong man.
We're not used to that with Utah, though.
Those last 3 or 4 plays. And so that was disappointing. I never would have believed if you would have said we were going to lose the line of scrimmage. Never would have believed that in a million years. But we did. We didn't.
34-10, the final there. Texas Tech and Will Hammond certainly deserves the game ball, but so too does that defensive line that they spent all that money on. Cameron Dickey, like you said, Matty, 13 rushes for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Man, they spent $5 million on that defensive line with all those transfers coming in. And that's a group that they had the highest expectations for. $25 million total on this transfer team. Big money ends up getting you a big payday. 34-10, huge win.
Yeah, and it's helping out the linebacker core, too. They're playing great behind it, too. Here we go, Arkansas, Memphis. Picking up things in the second quarter here. Rohan Jones. He's going to take the handoff here, and he's going to go in for a touchdown. I mean, and this is what I just love about what they do, Petrino, this offense. They can fire at every cylinder. They can do it all offensively behind Taylor Green and what they do. Rohan Jones gets in the end zone, going up 21-10 in the second quarter. Memphis down 18 at this point in the game. Brandon Lewis finds Cortez Brahman. Keep throwing the ball.
Are they about to pull this comeback off?
That might have been a little bit of push off.
Yeah,
you got away with it, but
there.
hey, it doesn't matter. It's a touchdown. We'll take it, number 4. Third quarter now. Lewis calls his own number and goes in for the tutty. Lewis, I love the helmets. Looking good, looking sharp, too, with the touchdown there. Jump ahead to the 4th now. Sutton Smith takes the handoff, and you can see the speed burst on this young man.
Yeah,
it
he
just
hit a
keeps
different
getting
gear.
faster. And yes, the Arkansas defense just said, why are we chasing this guy? We're not going to catch him. So they move on from there. Arkansas trying to regain the lead. Mike Washington Jr. takes the handoff, and he fumbles. What are we doing? Balls on the ground.
Oh,
Man.
that is costly.
Yep. Good replay right there. Memphis recovers it. They pull off the upset 32-31. And, man, this was an unbelievable football game. Taylor Green, 2 interceptions, but did it all for the Arkansas Razorbacks on the ground, through the air. Still just not enough. Arkansas, they can put up points with anybody.
Hey.
They just can't play defense.
Yeah.
And, man, Memphis, good win for them, 4-0 in the year. So that's a group of 5 football team. We got to keep an eye on for
No
the rest
question.
of the year.
Arkansas may be one of the better 2-loss teams in the country.
They
We
are.
should still keep an eye on because I do think they're going to get somebody this year. All right, time now for Guarantee of the Game presented by AT&T. Guys, in college football, there's one thing that you can guarantee every season, and that is that a coach's hot seat will continue to heat up. And, for Clemson and Dabo Swinney, whether it's unmet expectations, disappointing starts, coaches across the country are feeling the pressure. Dabo, although likely not going anywhere, as he certainly made clear throughout his press conference early in the week, his Tigers are out to a 1-3 start, his worst during his tenure. Guys, I think it's easy to point to the transfer portal as a culprit for this, but that's the easy way out. We don't take the easy way out here on the College Football Show. Let's focus on this year. We can talk about philosophies and should he use the portal, should he not? Focus on this year and this iteration of this Clemson team. If you could put your finger on it, what's wrong with the Clemson Tigers this year, Matty?
Oh, you guys go to me first, huh? Okay. No,
yeah.
It is tough to pinpoint, right? Because you look at the team on paper and you're like, man, this is one of the most talented teams on paper, right?
Yeah.
They got a skill group that's fantastic. Hey, running back was questionable. I think Adam Randall's done a really good job. Offensive line play has been just okay at times in this. The defense is loaded with talent on every single level. We're going to see a lot of these guys drafted on Sunday. But there's no attitude. There's no swagger. That's the biggest thing. There seems to be no team chemistry to this football team. So I just feel like the talent's there. Whatever Dabo's saying behind the scenes in these team meeting rooms, it seems to be falling on deaf ears. Because each and every game, it seems like they're being out-coached, out-executed, and really just out-hustled. And that's something that we're not used to seeing with the Dabo Swinney coach football team.
How do you change it, though? If the message isn't getting across, what do you do at that point?
You saw Fran Brown, the other day running the team, doing sprints and all that. Just like, so it takes a different, way to kind of invigorate your football team, to wake them up from the slumber that they have fallen in. But for right now, just the offense. 500 yards total offense.
That should do it.
But it's like the most unimpressive 500 yards you can see because it's so clunky, it's so sporadic. There's nothing consistent, or the offense doesn't have like a choreographed rhythm to it. It's just like, hey, let's run this play, let's run that play. And it's unfortunate because Cade Klubnik, I think he's a really good football player. I think the skill group is fantastic. Antonio Williams got back out there. Brian Wesco, we see how dynamic he is with the football in his hands. And yet, for whatever reason, we just can't seem to place play after play and build off of that rhythm as an offense to really make it meaningful. A touchdown the first, second, and fourth. It's not good enough for the Clemson offense, how talented they are.
Not at all. And I just think there needs to be a higher level of accountability from everybody
no doubt.
on the team, because when you look at it, the coaching staff is getting out-coached. The players are getting outplayed, and they're getting out-disciplined.
Yeah.
When you look at what they did, they repeatedly hurt themselves in the first half with 2 roughing the quarterback calls. Cade Klubnik is making bad throws, throwing interceptions. He's had 5 straight games where he's thrown an interception now. That's one of the longest streaks that Clemson has had. The last time it happened was with Deshaun Watson way back in the day when he just went through a rough little stretch. But what I see right now is a team on paper, as Matt just mentioned, that has the most returning players in the country. You have players that have a lot of experience. You have a coach who has won repeatedly, and you're still losing games that you should win.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't add up. And when you fall into those situations, it's just the whole vibe of the team.
Yeah.
Things are falling on deaf ears. People aren't playing hard enough, and the coaching needs to be better. And I'm going to point towards Garrett Riley. I'm going to point towards their new defensive coordinator, Tom Allen, as well, because they're clearly not putting the players in the best position to succeed.
And where does the buck stop? right? Where does it ultimately stop? With Dabo Swinney, right? So, I mean, as good as a coach as he is and as successful as they've been, of course, we just heard the resume. It's damn impressive. There's no doubt about that.
I don't question that he cares deeply about this team. He has dedicated so much of his life to this program.
And I think that's why we're frustrated as fans. I think that's why the other experts at ESPN, like, we're all kind of saying the same thing, and why we're having such a tough time pinpointing it. Because I think even Dabo, when he's in the press, he looks tired already. We're only a few weeks into the season, and he looks like he can't sleep.
Listen,
because it's just so stressful what's going on.
I've been there. I remember my senior year. Like, I'm not even lying to y'all, where we were just losing games. And we would work hard, we would practice hard, we would do everything that we could. We saw the coaches coming in every single day. It was hard, and we couldn't pinpoint the exact thing. But when I look back on it now, it was really just a leadership locker room problem, because none of us were really together the way that we should have been together. Yes, they've had a lot of returning players, but sometimes when you're with somebody for so long, you're kind of sick of them.
I find that hard to believe, though, because it's like Cade Klubnik with his experience, TJ Parker, I mean, just like, Woods. I mean, they got all these players that have been there for such an extended period of time, and to let their team, I feel like, just fall flat. The lack of energy that they play with is, to me, like, I feel like the biggest concern. Like, you watch Miami play, you don't get that feeling whatsoever. No. Like, you see the strain, you see the hustle, you see the swagger that they play with, that swagger is back there. You just don't see that with Clemson football right now, and I feel like they're not putting their players in a position to be successful. Too many times where defensively, I feel like you can tell exactly what they're doing pre-snap and post-snap, and that's just not good enough today in modern football.
No, and you're not alone. A lot of people had this team preseason number one. A lot of people looked at them on paper and saw, 3 potential first-round picks on the line. They saw a veteran quarterback. They saw explosive wide receivers, and it has not gelled yet. It has not worked. And
you know what? Hey, Brent Key a week ago, outcoached him. Same thing here. Fran Brown, outcoached him again,
credit,
right? So we got to give credit to Syracuse, right? Just showing up, doing their job. Steve Angeli, season-ending injury. But, man, they played their tails off
And
today.
just a shout-out to the chat. Captain Spartan, he said, the problem is that they've just plateaued. We see everybody in the YouTube chat. I'm seeing your comments. Continue to join the conversation.
Maybe it's just that simple. I mean, maybe it is.
Maybe,
all right, so Dabo isn't the only kind of must-watch press conference for this week.
Ooh.
UCLA, Virginia Tech, they've already made moves at the top. There's a couple of Power 4 coaches feeling the heat right now. Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy, 0-3 on the season. He already took a pay cut before this year started. Sam Pittman in Arkansas, like we just saw, might have the offense, but losing to Memphis doesn't help much. Guys, which one of these coaches is under the most pressure to turn things around this year?
I mean, regardless, Mike Gundy's gone. Like, let's be real. He had to take the pay cut, as we have seen coming into the season. And for them to lose again, I mean, this team has stopped playing. They don't play hard. They don't look like they're really in the game, like EA Sports, if one would say. But then the next coach that I would look at there is Bill Napier. Man, it seems like everyone wants his head off. A couple of coaching decisions and play calls in tonight's game against Miami that was just really questionable. And let's not even talk about the fact that they only had 32 yards and 1 first down in the first half against Miami. It was a tough watch for that offense, which he is responsible for.
It has to be Billy Napier. It really does. Mike Gundy, I think that thing has just run its course. He's been there a long time. He's been extremely successful. I think it's just a refresher, restart for the whole program and for him himself. For Billy Napier in Florida, you're just too good, honestly, to perform the way that you've been. Now, the schedule, unfortunately, for them is not going to get any easier. And that's why I feel like for us, like, we can kind of see a little bit out in front. Billy Napier struggled to keep his job a year ago. We haven't seen the progression of DJ Lagway in this offense. The inability to rely on one of the best offensive lines in the SEC and just to run the football. I mean, that's where I'm just like, I look at Jacoby Jackson and Jaden Ball, and I'm just like, why can't we feed these guys the football more?
You're not the only one asking that question.
And protect DJ Lagway. And then, you got a great skill group around him, too. So it's a little frustrating. Hey, they got their 3rd sack of the season tonight against one of the best offensive lines in college football in the Miami Hurricanes. But you're Florida. 3 sacks on the year? That's just not good enough football. And for Billy Napier, it's got to be something dramatic has to change very quickly for him to be able to save
It feels like
position.
every single year we're having this conversation about Billy Napier and this team essentially just not performing to the level that we expected them to. The defense stepped up in this game. They were down 13-0, and they stuck in it and gave DJ Lagway in Florida an opportunity to come back in this game. But ultimately, you just ended up being outcoached, and you ended up being outplayed.
He's a good recruiter. I think he's a good head coach. He knows talent when he sees it. Don't really like him as the offensive coordinator. And I think that's really the one thing that he has to kind of check is be like, is he the right guy to keep calling plays for them, or should he switch it up and take a back seat and start managing the team that way?
That's a fair question. And I do think there are some similarities you can draw between the Clemson issues and the Florida issues just in terms of how it looks on the screen. I mean, just some of the effort that was maybe not displayed. We did see it a little bit more as the second half progressed down the stretch in the Miami game.
Run the ball.
Yeah, we saw Hugh Freeze on that graphic.
Yeah.
Started 3-0 on the season, and then you got to go to Oklahoma. And to be fair, both Hugh Freeze and Brent Venables, I think, were on the hot seat coming into this season.
Right.
But what a statement it was made for Brent Venables in this game earlier today. It felt like a real kind of inflection point, I think, because Oklahoma, let's not forget, started 3-0 on the season last year before they kind of limped to the finish line. But by now we've given John Mateer his flowers, and deservingly so. He's done an incredible job this year for this team.
For him.
Yeah, no question about it. But I'm not sure that he was the hero in this game. And maybe that speaks more to what this Oklahoma team is, Maddie, and what they can do this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Brent Venables is the head coach, and what does a defensive head coach want to do? He wants to win with his defense.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give the offense too much credit. Now, it helps out when John Mateer is doing Superman-type things, but it's all about this right here. I mean, Mason Thomas, the hits on the quarterback. I mean, he was like Wolverine, coming out there on that hit. But just the constant barrage of pressures and fronts. Brent Venables really played a dangerous game today. He left Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton on islands by themselves consistently. Gilroy, a young freshman corner for Oklahoma, was put on one of the best receivers in all of college football. Cam Coleman is as good as like a Jeremiah Smith. I'm telling you, he's that good. He's that caliber of football player. But the trust that Venables has in his unit to just say, hey, eventually we're going to get so many hits on the quarterback that he is going to get a little shy pulling the trigger. And he called that bluff, and it was great. David Stone played awesome. Boganowski on the safety position, he is a headhunter. Jaden Jackson was phenomenal. Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie are phenomenal. And, of course, Mason Thomas is just like that cherry on top as the edge rusher there. He was an absolute just wrecking havoc there in the second half. He's the one that got the safety. He got that sack to start in the second half. But listen, he's playing a dangerous football game with the style he played. It paid off today. Can't wait to see how he adjusts to some of the other teams that they have on the schedule this year.
I mean, this is a quarterback that they had in their locker room that they got to go against. And something tells me that Brent Venables knew exactly what buttons to push against Jackson Arnold. He basically said, let me see you try to beat me by throwing the ball. We're not going to let you run the ball like you did to Baylor. We're going to come after you every single down. I mean, he was pressured on 46% of his passes. And on top of that, 10 sacks in this game, which is a school record. I mean, they were after him every single play. Now, granted, some of those times were Jackson Arnold's fault for him holding on to the ball. But now when I look forward towards Oklahoma, because they did their thing on defense. Offensively, yes, they have what John Mateer could be the best quarterback in college football and the Heisman favorite right now, but 32 net rushing yards in this game.
And who was the leading rusher? John Mateer. That's a problem for me. I don't know if I like that.
It's not going to cut it.
To rely on him to do it all for you in the SEC, that's asking a lot of one guy in your football team.
And when you look at the rest of their schedule, right? Because you're going against a quarterback in Jackson Arnold who can't throw the ball.
Or doesn't rely on his skill to throw
I don't think he played bad today.
I think he played very well.
But, I mean, towards the end of the game, he turned it up. I would definitely say so. But one thing I want everybody to take a look at is starting after the South Carolina game. Look at their last 5 games of the season.
It's a cupcake schedule.
It's Ole Miss, Tennessee, at Alabama and Tennessee, and then you got Missouri and LSU. That is your last 5 games. You're going to be seeing some really good quarterbacks to finish out the season. And I don't think you can play the same type of football against those quarterbacks where you lack a rushing attack and you're going to leave those wide receivers on an island. So, I don't know, Sam. When I look at those last 5 games, there might be 2-3 losses there because things aren't going to get easier because after Kent State next week, they still have Texas and South Carolina. This is a hard schedule.
What's with Kent State, man? I mean, they just want to get beat by Florida State.
A nice little warm-up.
No, they're making a lot of money this year. They are. It's just the wrong way to do it.
That LSU game at the end of the season might decide who goes to Atlanta to play in the SEC championship game. But go ahead, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about this football game, right, defensively, Oklahoma, 35th in the country, right, only allowing 96 rush yards per game, all right? And that was what was impressive about today. They held this rushing attack by Auburn to 67 yards, right? So they took away the best thing that they do. You know what they average a year so far this year? 242 yards.
Yeah.
So to go with that average from 242 to 67,
yeah.
You know, that's what I love about Brent Venables. And I know it's not like ideal to leave, you know, these one-on-one receivers like that. But he is going to take away the best thing that you do every single time. Now, the question is, the rest of that schedule that we saw, what do you do when you play Ole Miss and Trinidad and what he does, right? Some of the other teams like Lenora Sellers and all.
Aguilar, Tennessee,
Aguilar and Tennessee and what they do. So it's going to be really interesting to see how OU matches up with some of these high-powered offense because they don't just rely on one thing to be successful.
Oklahoma, an incredible performance today at home. They win at 24-17. A great defense there in Soonerland. Also, pretty good defense at Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah, baby.
This is my favorite game of the day, honestly.
This was maybe one of the most unpredictable matchups coming into the day. Texas Tech had played literally the easiest schedule in the entire country up to this point.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Utes weren't very far behind, but even with Baron Morton going down, we just saw the highlight. Will Hammond stepped right in, earned himself the game ball, but the majority of the investment for this Texas Tech team was in the trenches.
It is.
Specifically on that defensive line. Safe to say that it paid off, right? I mean, so far, based on what we've seen?
About $5 million to be specific.
I don't care how much money it was.
It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth every single dollar. And this was the unit that had the highest expectations on a roster that was built around $25 million.
This guy, Jacob Rodriguez, is a dog.
He had an absolute monster game.
He is a monster.
This defense entered the weekend 10th nationally in yards per play, and it held the Utes to 3.8 yards per play on 69 offensive snaps. But one thing that you look at in terms of the improvement they had from last season to this season, the defense ranked 123rd last year in yards per play. This team has never finished in the top 15. It has never played for a Big 12 title game.
Let's go.
And here we are. This year with money pumped into the roster.
Money.
And they're looking like an explosive offense. I know it was a little bit tough, but they made some explosive plays and ended up winning by 24 points, which is the second largest victory against an AP-ranked opponent. They did this on the road against Utah. The loudest Big 12, Big 12 environment.
No doubt.
Right? And on top of that, Kyle Whittingham has been on record saying that this is the best offensive line that he has. We're talking about guys who are going to be playing on Sundays
are like first-round caliber tackles, right?
And
so
they're legit on that offensive line by that Texas Tech.
Okay. You know what really got exposed today, right? It's just that Devin Dampierre, right, got to develop the passing attack better, right? We know how athletic he is. He can create plays outside the pocket and outside of structure, but just when he had to drop back and just cut it loose, Texas Tech was all over him. They really did a good job of containing him and making sure that he wasn't able to use his legs and to use those extra space right around him to create plays with his feet. So that was a big sign, right, for Texas Tech, that they played great team defense. And that's what's impressive for this unit, right? Just overall, this wasn't a Big 12 football game to me. This was different. This looked like it was an SEC football game.
I was going to say, that doesn't look like a Big 12 team.
Feel. Yeah, it really did. And now with the D-line, Sky Gill Howard, right? David Bailey, right? And what they can do. Romello Height, the depth that they have there at the position. Now we're seeing how good the linebacker core is. That's where I said Jacob Rodriguez, John Curry, Ben Roberts. That whole crew, the front seven, played absolutely phenomenal today. And it all just starts with the fact that they have a defensive line that can get after it every single down. They have a six-man rotation. It's working effectively, and they're playing as a cohesive unit. So, hey, you know, Dabo Swinney, he's got guys that came back, all that. Hey, Texas Tech, new guys, but you know what? They look like a cohesive group that's playing great team football. And with Will Hammond coming in the way that he did today,
That's the next thing I was going to get on
with
to.
Terrence Carter and Reggie Virgil and the way that they looked in the offense, I mean, wow, that was a really impressive victory.
And the reason why this win just impressed me so much, because it was one of those nitty-gritty football games. Yes, you got up 7-0 early on, but then it just became turnover after turnover after turnover. We're talking about 5 total turnovers in this game, but each team had to stick in there.
Look at this kid run,
and this is some hard running. I mean, I loved the way that you face adversity in this game.
Yeah.
You lose your starting quarterback. He steps in and he still plays at a high level. That is belief, not just in self, but belief that has been instilled in you
for sure
from the coaching staff all the way to your teammates.
There's some context here, by the way. Baron Morton was injured in the spring.
That's right.
Will Hammond was taking snaps with the number ones essentially all spring. So one of the reasons why I think he looked so comfortable today. Nobody looks as comfortable as they did going into Rice-Eccles Stadium and doing what they did. Texas Tech now is the inside track for the Big 12 title.
For sure.
Is it time that we start discussing this team not only as a Big 12 title favorite, but maybe in the national championship conversation?
Let's bring up their schedule real quick because, listen, I think it's too early for us to say that they are going to be in the national championship because I need to see more from them. This was really their first test. They've played a bunch of cupcake games, and then now you finally go against a real opponent in Utah. We knew that this would be a good litmus test to see where they face up.
Yeah.
But when I look at the rest of their schedule, to me, as long as they handle business, they're going to be favored for the rest of the season, mind you. As long as they handle business, this is a guaranteed playoff team. And they might have to run it back against Utah in the Big 12 championship for all that we know.
Good
and
point.
they could go to the Big 12 championship, lose that game, and still make it into the playoffs because the schedule is favorable. The roster is talented.
Yeah.
And the money was there.
That's right.
Pre-snap penalties were a problem today, too.
They were. I mean, I anticipate some of that, too, because for both football teams today, this really was the first time that they saw another team that was like them. It was like versus like. It was good football teams that were coached well, and it took some time for both teams to adjust to just the speed of the game. But I really just can't say enough about just how good of a job Leftwich did and managing the game when their star quarterback goes out. And let's face it, Baron Morton was taking some big hits early on in this football game. They didn't really have many answers for the Utah defensive front. And then the adaptation with Will Hammond coming into the football game, his accuracy with the RPO game, you saw the scramble that he had later in that football game too. So as the game continued to wear on, right, I think Leftwich did a great job of managing the young quarterback, giving him his opportunities. He was playing fast. He was making clean decisions. And the talent is obviously there for Texas Tech.
Second largest home defeat for the Utes in the last 10 years. The only other one that was more was the Oregon loss in 2023. They don't lose like that. They don't lose at home, period. No. Not in that fashion.
Yeah,
so.
And listen, that other team that you just mentioned, Oregon, was a damn good football team.
They certainly were.
So that says a lot.
All right, well, let's keep this conversation moving because we just had a game that ended not too long ago that everyone was talking about. Gameday was there. DJ Lagway and the Florida Gators looking to bounce back after 2 straight losses. And they got number 4 Miami. Early first quarter, Miami ball. The Hurricanes drive right down the field. And Shamar Brown runs it in for a 2-yard touchdown. Miami takes a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. We're going to have to fast forward to the third now. Hurricanes are leading 13-0. Jacoby Jackson is not sorry, Miss Jackson. Get out the way.
Look at this.
Hits a shake and bake like Ricky Bobby. Fights his way, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling for a huge game. We stay in the same drive. Lagway needs to keep it alive on 4th down, and he converts in a 4th and 2. Listen, they only had 1 first down in the first half, but they get it going here 2 plays later. Jaden Barr bounces it outside, gets into the end zone. 10 of the 11 plays on this drive for the Gators were runs. They cut the lead 13-7 on Miami's next possession. Kermani McClain has a great break on the ball and snatches that from Carson Beck on the interception. Kind of baited him here, Matt.
Big-time recruit right there. Went to Colorado. Colorado asked him to leave, and he's fitting in perfectly in that Florida secondary right now.
Now in the 4th quarter, Miami ball. Brown gets the Hurricanes drive going with a huge 16-yard gain here. Tackle right down the field, and then later in the drive on 3rd and goal, Brown says, if I got y'all down here, let me just finish it off. You, like Soldier Boy, into the end zone. This was the 8th of the 13 plays this drive where Brown got the ball. After Florida failed to convert, Mark Fletcher Jr. takes it up the gut right here for the touchdown there, and then Miami would end up closing this out with Carson Beck to get the 26-7 win, which was huge for them, but not so great for Florida.
They just kind of bullied Florida for the most part of this game.
They did, and that's where just like, look at the stat sheet right here that we're looking at. Hey, Miami was patient in the running game. They allowed their offensive line to tee off consistently and push the Florida defensive line around. And with Florida's injuries on the defense side of the football, they just didn't have enough to hold up there on the front. And that's where I feel like Florida just mismanaged the game again. Too much pressure on DJ Lagway to win it by himself. Rely on Jacoby. Rely on Jaden Ball to run the football a little bit more. Too much on the young QB to overcome in this one against a really good Miami defense.
All right, guys, so there's been a lot of reflection going on from preseason to now that we have some stats to go along with it.
Yeah.
And I think most of us coming into the season, we thought we had a pretty good idea of, who the top quarterbacks in the SEC were going to be. Returners like Garrett Nussmeier and Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway. We all predicted that they might take the next step in their game. Arch Manning was the Heisman favorite up until like 2 weeks ago, right?
Good game today.
Good game today.
Until week one.
No longer the Heisman favorite, but yes. But look, it's week 4. We've got some stats. We've got some numbers. We've been able to see some games. So I think what we thought in the preseason needs to be updated a little bit. So now we will give you our top 5 SEC quarterbacks following week 4.
From our course. This is fluid.
Okay, I knew you were going to preface that.
All right, this is going to change. But hey, I think we got to start here.
No argument there.
I mean, one of the nicest surprises, I think, in the SEC right now and just how he's playing. And really, it is a one-man show on the offense side of the football. So we got to show some love to Jean Mateer. All right, now this is where it gets dicey, like really quick. Let me check my list here. All right, my boy number 2. All right, and I know what you're going to say at home. You're like, Taylor Green, Arkansas, they're not that good.
I don't think there's much of an argument there.
He's literally the same thing as Mateer. He's a one-man show on the offense side. Yeah. He's a top 5 passer in the conference. He's also a top 5 rusher in the conference at the quarterback position. Taylor Green is awesome. Awesome.
It's a little bit melancholy because it kind of reminds me of like a Jaden Daniels LSU team for Arkansas where you just kind of waste a little bit.
Okay, so now I'm going to go with hey, the stats, they're not pretty. They're not sexy whatsoever. But he's playing really good at the quarterback position. Yep. And I know all of us, we hate that he manages the game. Well, you know what? He does manage the game well. And this is why NFL scouts like him a lot because he sees the big picture of the game. He makes clean decisions. He's active in the pocket, and he's really clutch when they need him to. I really like how Garrett Nussmeier has started, despite the fact that statistically it's not all that impressive
yet. All right,
yet.
who do you got at 4, man?
All right, so now at 4. Okay, I'm going to go with our boy that we just interviewed. All right, I'm going to go with Beau Pribula. You know why? Because it's kind of like the same thing of these guys, right? He could do it through the air. He could do it through the ground. I love the offense, too. I think it fits him extremely well. The vertical passing attack, he could throw it aggressively. They got a ton of receivers around him, a great running back room. I think Beau Pribula is playing some really good football and really seeing the field well and being aggressive. And now we're going to go to, let's see, I'm going to go with a gentleman who...
He's scrolling by somebody I thought he would have on this list.
I know. There's a few. This is difficult to start with, but I'm going to go with Lenore Sellers because we were reminded again when he is healthy.
Yep. Yeah.
He is out in the field. I still thought they would have lost to Vanderbilt even if he was out there. But still, you saw how dynamic he was. One of his best passing performances of his career at South Carolina today. And this is what I got to see more from him. I want to see more of that
explosive.
Because I know how good of a runner he is. Continue to develop the passing attack for this young man, and now there'll be a real problem.
All right,
so that's the top 5 I got for
We're going to have some arguments here.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Because this guy just went on the road to South Bend and got a win.
Dude,
this guy maybe you could make the argument should have beaten Georgia last week.
I hear you.
This guy beat Tennessee last week.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Matty.
I feel like I could very easily switch this out right here.
There's no. Yeah.
All right. I feel very good about how Marcel Reed played against Notre Dame, how he saw the field, the aggressiveness in which he played. Absolutely. I could switch this out right here too. Right. I could say Ty Simpson there because I watched the film of Wisconsin. I got to tell you, bro.
He was doing everything.
It was really impressive.
I also watched Wisconsin today. I mean,
I understand. But when you see the film, it gives you a totally different perspective because he's throwing like 20-yard deep outs from the opposite hash, like on a dime, right? A lot of quarterbacks in college football aren't even attempting those type of throws. So that's why I got to give him his flowers right now. I could even do this right here. Yeah. Now I know like it isn't sexy again, but like he's the right guy for the job. It fits him well. He knows how to play the game. He is tough. He's a resemblance of their head coach. So I really love what Gunnar Stockton's doing. And hey, I also gotta show some love.
Got a lot of red on that
Man,
top 5 there.
I mean, that was gonna be my thing right there because
Joey Aguilar, man.
You're the Tennessee guy, and Joey Aguilar didn't even make the top 5 in the beginning of this whole thing.
Biased.
And Ty Simpson, I was a little bit, judgmental on his play to start the season off, but we've seen him step up and play at a different level. But Diego Pavia, that's exactly who I was going to bring in. I mean, the attitude that he brings to every single football game is not just within the X's and O's, but there is an element of energy. There is an element of effort, and his teammates are playing for him. So when you talk about a player who is going to show up every single game, give you 100% effort, and you know it's 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and you gotta get it. I trust him,
no doubt,
just as much as I trust everybody else on that list.
I know. I feel like him, Nussmeier, all kind of the same thing. Great leaders, tough as hell. The team relies on them. Is it always sexy statistically? No, it's not. But man, they get the job done for them, and their team trusts them. But what I see here is just a group. I mean, hey, Trinidad, what he did today. This is a hell of a conference for quarterbacks right now. There is a lot of really good football players, and the fact that we can go through and be about 10 deep and say, hey, these are some good players, that's exciting for this conference.
Right, and I think the point of this exercise, again, is to show everybody, like, preseason rankings, preseason thoughts, what we thought this was going to be, it's different.
What I said,
and let us know.
The only thing we know is that we don't know
anything. And hey, I want to know in the comments, like, let us know what you think about the quarterbacks in this conference, because it's deep.
Please let us know, because we will be here every single week answering some of your questions and interacting with your thoughts. 11 p.m. Eastern time, or anytime really on YouTube. You can catch us. Don't forget either. Also, Countdown to Game Day every single Saturday morning, 8:30 to 9 o'clock. We have got you covered. We'll break down every big game, every upset, every notable storyline from the day all season long. Your Saturdays begin here. Time now for the playbook presented by Modelo. We go back to the touchscreen with our very own in-house QB, Matt Sims.
Yes, sir.
Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin has built a career around dynamic offenses. And Austin Simmons was supposed to be the next guy up, filling in the shoes of Jackson Dart. Well, allow us to introduce you to maybe the best quarterback that you haven't heard of yet this year, Trinidad Chambliss. Maddie, tell us what you saw.
He's saying, like, allow me to introduce myself.
Exactly.
All right. So in this particular situation, this is where Trinidad brings a whole nother level to this offense and his mobility at the quarterback position. The offensive line here and the tight end, we're going to block down on everybody here on the offensive line. The wingman here on the opposite side is going to come around, and he is going to be that kick-out block there. The halfback is actually going to be the lead man through the hole here, but this is where, again, it just adds to the dynamic ability of Trinidad because it's not blocked perfectly. Great job on the kick out. We see here running back does a good job trying to fill space, but there's an extra Tulane defender down there to stop the run because it is a short yardage situation early in the football game, trying to be physical at the line. Trinidad sees that, bounces to the outside, and this is where that short area change of direction and quickness by number 6 is super impressive. And it sets up a lot of really good football plays for them and what Lane wants to do. He wants a quarterback that can create within structure, outside of structure. Trinidad does all these things for this offense.
Division II transfer from Ferris State. He ran for over 1,000 yards during his time there. He also threw for over 3,000 and 51 touchdowns. It's just amazing to see how comfortable he is in this system without really playing much.
It's a great point, and here we go in a critical area of the field, right? The low red zone area. We've seen a lot of teams struggle with this, but here's Trinidad with limited amount of reps and being the guy, able to execute at a very high level. So we're going to get a very short motion here by the receiver, and then we're going to get a corner route by this receiver over the top. Watch this tight end here, Daquan Wright. He's going to essentially follow in the wake of that corner route and then sit as soon as he crosses that goal line. On the backside here, we just have a yes-no fade. If you like it, take it. If not, we're working strong side here.
What's his progression here, Matt?
So the progression, it's a high-low concept, right? So they're thinking corner, right, to that spot route, and then the flat. But this is more so the corner's like an alert versus man coverage, certain looks. The real key is they want to get Daquan Wright the football. As soon as he crosses the goal line, they're trying to rip it right on his body at that front end line nice and low so he can just cover up the football and protect himself and be a big body frame there in this play design. So we get the short motion, a lot of communication here on the back end. We're going to see this receiver. He's going to widen out. Watch, look, Daquan there, right in the wake there. So we got 2 Ole Miss offensive players in the same exact position. He puts on the brakes right there on the goal line. The ball is already on its way out. That's exactly how you want it to be. Great post-up play by the tight end and quarterback there in the low red zone area.
So one of the biggest questions coming into the season for Ole Miss was who's going to be really catching balls on the outside. With Jordan Watkins off to the NFL, Trey Harris. Caden Lee was one of those guys they really needed to step up, and sometimes you just need your receiver to go make a play for you, too.
Exactly right. Caden Lee is the big man here in this situation, and I love, too, just Ole Miss. Hey, undersized quarterback, right, getting used to being the guy. We're going to do a max protect look right here. So we got 7 men on the line of scrimmage. So we got offensive line 5, the tight end, and the running back. We're all staying into block. We're going to get 3 receivers out. We're going to allow our quarterback to make a quick, fast decision and be aggressive down the field.
Yep.
On the bottom here, we have a yes-no stop route. If we like it, take it. If not, up top here, stop route again. And then the receiver here, Caden Lee, he's going to do a really cool thing. We're attacking this defender right here, this play side safety. Caden Lee is going to get around this backer here in this area. He's going to fake like he's breaking in on an in-cut or like a cross-face seam route to the safety, and then he's just going to stick and go vertical right through. And this is where the safety has to play deep, right, and make sure he doesn't get beat over the top. But we've seen this so many times where these the receivers cross-face of the safety and hit these seams for big plays. He bites on this when Caden Lee gives eyes, right? Look at the eyes. He's looking back towards the quarterback. As soon as he gives eyes, right, that safety stutters for a second, and then Caden Lee puts on the burners, run past him. Great adjustment to the football, too, right there. Got to make these type of plays for your new starter.
I thought it was really interesting, too. He's running right at this defender. He's making him make a decision.
He is. And you know what? I even made a mistake, too. I forgot they ran a little sluggo here on the bottom of the screen, so that's my fault. I forgot about that. And they had an opportunity here to throw that sluggo here to the bottom. Didn't like it, reset, got back to the one-on-one here against the safety with Caden Lee. Beautifully throwing football to the outside there, and a good adjustment again by the receiver.
Yeah, so Trinidad Chambliss, again, kind of coming out party here against a very good Tulane team, and he was utilizing all of his receivers. Here's Deuce Alexander here.
So very similar concept again. We're going to get 7-man protection with the tight end and the back staying in. We're going to get a seam route over here again, a stop route on the outside, and then let's just keep it simple. Tulane is going to rotate to essentially like a single high look where this safety is going to rotate down. This safety is going to go back to the deep middle, and then we have a one-on-one opportunity right here in the towards the field for just a fade route. But I love the release here. This is what we're going to look at. Great job of attacking the toes of the defensive back. He attacks him. He takes that one little jab step inside to make him look like he's breaking in. The DB respects it, but as soon as he gets kind of like stuck on his heels, you saw that change of direction there, does a great job of ripping through the outside shoulder. And then this is the most advanced thing that we can see. Young receivers at home. Great patience by the receiver. You saw that he had to slow down to make this catch for Trinidad. He does a great job of boxing him out, using his back almost like a turtle shell. He's like Michelangelo out here, right? Does a great job boxing him out, slows down the tempo of it, laid hands to the catch, and then just the balance and strength to finish in the end zone. A really good looking play there. A simple concept for your quarterback to play fast. Love the release at the line of scrimmage. He had him easy for a nice fade for a touchdown. Number 11 made his quarterback right by slowing down. Played the hand slowly as well, too, and then finished after.
He's already making history. He's become the 4th player in Ole Miss history to record a 300-yard pass game and a 100-yard rush game, joining the likes of Archie Manning. So
there you go.
Pretty good
company
there.
Is for sure.
You think there's a quarterback competition here in Ole Miss?
You know, honestly, for what Trinidad has done so far, I kind of have the feeling that they might stick with him for a little bit longer, right? He has the hot hand right now. He's playing good football. He does add a little versatility and just action as far as his athleticism. So I feel like Trinidad might be the guy going forward. But hey, it's good. It's a good thing for Ole Miss, man. You got 2 really good quarterbacks on your roster that can push the football down the field.
The question is going to be, can they continue this pace? Because Ole Miss has had the propensity to cough one up down the stretch of the season. So we'll see how that goes. That was the playbook presented by Modelo. Thank you.
Throw some shade at Ole Miss like that at the very end of the playbook.
This is what we do.
Cool?
All right, let's take a look at some of the top plays from Week 4. Start with Miami. Yes,
Miami.
That's our guy Pat McAfee, Speedo and all, on College Game Day. Guys, thoughts on this?
Sam, would you jump off and do this?
On a much smaller scale, maybe.
My thoughts on it. Look
Definitely
at that tan line. What shorts was he wearing?
Want to bet that one out before we did that.
You know, he looks jacked. He looks good, man.
Fair enough.
Oh, here we go. The Louisville Cardinals, baby.
Hell yeah.
Look at the bomb punt here. But Colin Lacey, he says, I don't care how far the punt is. That just gives me more room to do this. Great return here by Colin Lacey. Over 100 yards of return yards on the day. This one goes for 75. And you know what we say in Louisville, right? Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah,
That's
brother.
what we like to see. Hell yeah, brother. Colin Lacey with the punt return for the touchdown. Let's go, Cards.
All right, this was one of the biggest games of the day. Syracuse, Clemson. Check out Justice Ross Simmons getting up there and climbing the ladder. You got Moss.
I was just going to say that. That's going to be on Sunday NFL Countdown tomorrow. No
Straight
question.
up on his head, Clemson ends up getting upset in this one. They were a 17.5-point favorite, but
Wow.
Syracuse was not having it.
All right, UNLV in the Fighting. Dan Mullins playing Miami of Ohio. That's that's I was going to say running back. No, that's quarterback Anthony Calandria, the UVA transfer, leaping over defender. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Army visiting North Texas, baby. And Davion Armstead gets his championship belt here with the interception there. North Texas open up a can of little old school wrestling there. Shout out to our boy Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I'm a big Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. I might say it myself. All right, Stone Cold is ball. Let's go to Ball State playing UConn. And look at them get a little tricky here. Kyle Kelly hands it off, and they went a little Philly special here, guys. That's what we're doing. This is like a deep Philly special. You usually see it in the end zone. Still works. Those were some of the best of Week 4. Now off to the not-so-hot moments of this Saturday. South Carolina State took a step up in weight class today to play USF, and this is why they have weight classes. Pressure on the QB, gets picked off, and yes, we're going to home like everyone does on Thanksgiving. The Bulls bounce back from their loss to Miami, and the defense steps up.
Back to the we'll go back to the other Miami of Ohio in this game. Lined up to attempt a game-winning 57-yard field goal as time expired, but that's not how they drew it up. The holder bobbles the snap, rolls out, throws a pass, and it gets picked off by UNLV to seal the game. Special teams not so special on this one.
I would say so. All right, here we go. Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels. He got two guys covering one.
Oh, no.
And they forgot about number one. Yeah, you know, Bill, he's known for his defensive mind and IQ, and hasn't translated yet to the college game quite yet.
All right, with Week 4 in the books, we turn our attention to a blockbuster Week 5. But first, let's take a look back at last year. You know, guys, with our friend Nick Saban retiring, Kirby Smart thought, hey, maybe I can, beat Alabama. No, not the case. We saw a ridiculous performance, but that was maybe one of the best games of the year last year, the Ryan Williams catch and score. It was just a back and forth affair. Carson Beck was throwing balls downfield, and Georgia's receivers were catching them. Things didn't pan out the rest of the way, but nevertheless, Week 5 is going to
be a lot of shade today, man.
I'm feeling a little sassy tonight. That's all. We have a great Week 5. Not only is Alabama going to go between the hedges to take on Georgia, we've also got Oregon making the cross-country flight to go into Happy Valley, and maybe one of the most anticipated whiteout games in recent memory for Penn State, or certainly with the level to which that game is going to be played at. Let's start between the hedges. Let's start with this game in Alabama and Georgia. These two teams have owned this conference over the last 10 years. I think 9 of the last 10 SEC titles have resided between Georgia and Alabama, with LSU coming in there in 2019. But if Alabama is going to end Georgia's 33-game home winning streak, Maddie, how would they go about doing it?
It's going to start with just protecting Ty Simpson, because I think we saw against this Wisconsin matchup a week ago that when they protect Ty Simpson and Ryan Grubb, he can dial up a lot of great plays for this quarterback. He is playing some really good football, despite what we may have thought against Florida State.
Right.
He's seeing the field extremely well. The accuracy in his throws is on a whole nother level. I mean, he's one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in college football right now. And with Jeremy Bernard as the leading receiver, Ryan Williams also, the second leading receiver of the team, pretty good guy. Isaiah Horton appeared in the game last week. That's a big thing. Horton here's a who, and he is involved in that offense. Latsier Brooks, the young man from Millville, New Jersey. I see you, dog. All right, really good skill group. They lack the ability to be patient running the football. That's one thing that Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have brought from Washington, their inability or patience to run the football. So they're just going to keep throwing it. If they can protect Ty Simpson, they can get after this Georgia secondary with that really talented receiver core.
Scoob, I think last year a lot of people's memories of Gunnar Stockton was, when he took over in the SEC title game, which was an impressive to help, get them the win. But, in the playoff, things didn't really pan out. It was a spot start for Gunnar, but I think he proved a lot to a lot of people in the win over Tennessee last weekend. What did he prove to you as far as to how he can kind of take this Georgia team to the next level?
That he can get the ball down the field and he can perform in those high-pressure situations. Now, the game against Tennessee, going into it, everyone was saying is he doesn't throw the ball 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he proved us wrong by completing a number of those passes and getting Georgia in a great position. I mean, he was 23 for 31, 304 yards, completed 74% of his passes, and had 2 touchdowns.
All right, that's enough of this game.
Yeah, and Matt, as a Tennessee fan, was not a fan of that. But, I mean, some of the tight window throws, his ability to be able to run the ball as well, 13 carries for 38 yards. He's not afraid to get hit. I do look at last week's game and see that he was sacked for the first time all season, 4 times to be exact, which is not great in a game. So he has to be able to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. Maybe they can help him out, because if I see that as Alabama, I'm like, okay, let's get a little bit more pressure on him and force him to, really throw the ball with somebody in his face. So he's going to need to be able to get used to that and adjust, but he is playing at home. It will be in a home environment. And one thing that he did really well in the game against Tennessee is that he had an offensive line that was completely shuffling throughout the game. I mean, he had 2 different right guards, 3 different right tackles against Tennessee, and he was still able to, find success in the field. Now, that might have been what led to those 4 sacks, but you got to be able to go through that adversity. And on top of that, continue to be able to run the ball so you can take pressure off of your young quarterback.
Let's go ahead and pick this game, Alabama and Georgia. Look, I think we were a little bit quick to judge Alabama. Oh, by the way, if you want to take a look at the record so far.
Damn, 6-0?
Yeah.
I swear I know a lot about football, all right, despite what that record says.
I would actually agree with that.
I just can't pick worth a damn, all right? But I know about the game.
See, you know too much. That's the problem.
Maybe. I'm overthinking it.
That's
right,
what it
Sam.
is.
Yeah.
So let's pick this game, see if we can stay undefeated. I think we were a little bit quick to jump on Alabama this year after the loss to Florida State, similarly to how we were quick to jump on Clemson last year. I think that Alabama is a better team than we thought at the start of the year. I'm taking Alabama to go on the road and end Georgia's 33-game home winning streak.
I like it. I'm going with Alabama, too. I think Alabama's going to play a little bit more of a safer version of defense than we saw with Tim Banks and the Tennessee defense. I think they're going to play soft. I think they're going to force Gunnar Stockton to just dink and dunk all the way down the football field, and that's where I feel like Georgia rely on the running attack. Frazier, Phillips, Bowen. Allow them to tee off on this Alabama defensive front and protect your quarterback with a strong running game, but I still think Alabama gets the win.
You going to save the graphic, Scoop, for us?
Alabama coming in to play Georgia on their home field for the first time under Kirby Smart. You said that they have won 33 consecutive games in that environment. Kirby Smart is in revenge season right now with all the disrespect. He used to battle with Nick Saban, and now you're telling me Caleb DeBoer is going to beat him? Oh, go Dogs.
Oh, very, come on, man. Very.
They're going to get this win. Shout out to my man DJ in our control room, because I'm the only one that seems to be on this hype train. Gunnar Stockton, a Georgia-born man, drives a Ford truck. He is Georgia and everything about Georgia. I'm taking the Dogs in this game to beat Alabama. I just think they're a tougher football team. They're coached better. And they're going to win.
All right.
A truck, by the way, that has no AC. So,
Yeah, roll the windows down.
It's hot in Georgia. Yeah. All right, Penn State and Oregon. This one could decide, the race for the Big Ten title. It could also be the first of 2, like we said, with these 2 teams possibly meeting again in the Big 12 title game like they did last year. I'm going with Penn State at home. I mentioned the gravity of the situation, Oregon making the cross-country flight. I don't think that's easy, and I think there's a lot more to that than we actually think. So I'm going to go with Penn State at home.
Yeah, hey, Penn State, I know that we're excited about them and all that. This is going to be their first real test of the season. Can't wait to see what the offense really looks like. What I think is a good defense in Oregon, right, led by Bryce Botcher, their middle linebacker, and Dylan Thieneman, the transfer from Purdue playing at safety. I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks. Dante Moore, DeCorian Moore, the young freshman
More
as
squared,
well.
yeah.
Man, I just think that the offense is too well designed, and I know that they're talented, Penn State's defense, but I just feel like Oregon's going to attack them in ways they haven't seen yet this year. I'm going to take Oregon with the road win.
Low scoring or high scoring game?
Low scoring.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm right there with you. And there's been one team that's gotten a little bit more rat poison than the other one, and that is Penn State. So with me, I am going with the more squared. I think Oregon is going to win this game. I think Dante Moore has honestly looked like the best quarterback in the entire country.
I know.
The way
this guy's
that
not a heater. I'm
offense
like
is
a little
clicking.
concerned.
I'm a little bit nervous, too.
It could
I'm a little
come
bit
crashing
nervous.
down, my friend.
But count your days, Ravech. All right?
gonna catch
This
up?
is it for you.
All right.
The Mageza Express is making its way back. All right, let's go, Oregon. Let's go, Georgia.
We'll find out. That'll do it for us here. Great week 4. Make sure you come back next week again, 11 p.m. Eastern time, right where you're watching right now on the ESPN College Football YouTube page. For Matt, Scoob, I'm Sam, our entire crew saying thank you so much for watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T. Have a great rest of your night and enjoy the NFL Sunday tomorrow, everybody.